Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. Very, very happy to be connected to you today. We had a bit of technical difficulty, so for those of you who may have been wondering, where is she? Here I am. Technology sometimes it's a little glitchy. We had some issues, but the wonders of technology that we get to be connected in this way. So, apologies for the delay, but here we are. Uh, our message today is all about having faith. This is one of those moments. Things happen. What do? You stay the course. You believe that it's going to work out. You take whatever actions you need to take in order to move forward with full conviction that whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. And it's funny that given the message that I chose for today, have faith, that we have to put it into action immediately. That's how it works sometimes. So, yeah, I was thinking, this is a time of year, time of great transition, time of uh, thoughtfulness, reflectiveness. Who am I? Who have I been this year? How have I been this year? How have I lived my life? Where am I headed? What do I want to do with myself? How do I feel about how I've navigated this year that is coming to an end? A lot of important questions, uh, a lot of important questions that come when you are being reflective that include the tender questions, that what happens when you don't know what's around the corner? That's we don't ever really know. But, many of us plan things out very carefully. This is methodically, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do next. This is how I planned out my life. This is how I planned out my day, my week, whatever it might be. And what if you have gotten to a place where you really don't know? What do you do when you really don't know? When maybe what you had planned is not what is happening, when circumstances have changed, for whatever that might be, and there are big question marks about what the future looks like, what your future looks like, what in the world is around the bend. When you have those feelings, what do you do? How do you respond when you don't have a sense of what's next? And I think this is a fair question for all of us. It's a really good question at the end of the year. It's a really good question this year because, and I don't like to belabor things that are not necessarily pleasant, but there's been a lot of tumult this year, a lot of change for many, many people, a lot of jobs lost, of contraction, um, people facing illness who seem to be perfectly well, a blink ago. Life circumstances changing, and what do you do when something that was a constant isn't a constant anymore? People passing on, and people who are important in your life, and what do you do with that void? I saw a woman a few days ago who's part of my meditation community, who is a mother of 4 children. Her husband passed away, at least 10 years ago, and I think the children were all pretty young at the time that he passed, and so for, let's say, at least 10 years, she's been a single mom dealing with her kids, and she was telling me that she's going on a trek, going on a service trip for 6 weeks, and just really to refill her spirit and to offer service because, as she knows, and I know this too, probably you as well, when you offer service, it can be so healing for you and for other people. She said she's been doing a lot of work around grief. And the reason is that one of her 4 children committed suicide, I think 2 years ago. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Of all the things that could happen in the world, As a parent, to lose a child is probably at the top of the list of you don't know how to deal with this, you don't know how to handle it. And then for a parent to lose a child by the child's choice. And when I saw her, she was in a very good place, a very solid place. And she said that her focus now is on helping people with grief because this is how she's able to put one foot in front of the other, to have faith that her life is worth it, that her child's life who was lost is worth the memory, and maybe there's a way for her to help other people who are suffering to have just a bit of solace. That was very powerful. When we talk about theoretical things here that are well, they're theoretical in the moment that we're talking about them because 'cause we're contemplating different ideas, right? But they're real, and when we apply the different, uh, thoughts that we explore here on inspiration to our lives, then what happens? How can we apply these spiritual principles to whatever is going on in our world and maybe feel just a little bit better? How can we do that? I think contemplating it, meditating on it, studying scriptures, talking to others about their experiences of whatever the topic is at hand. But in this case, as I spoke with this woman and I saw she was just such a bright light, so much joy, so much conviction. She has chosen to live and thrive even in grief. She has chosen to explore what grief means to her and to other people so that in some way she can contribute to society at a time when she's so tender. And I left my very brief conversation with her feeling uplifted, feeling like, okay, she's found a way to survive and thrive. Those are two things, survival and thriving. She was doing more than surviving. She wasn't just like holding on. She was solid in herself. And again, in her conviction to serve others who are in that position. I have learned my parents taught this to me from the earliest of days, and it's been reinforced through my spiritual community. Service is like a balm. Serving others, serving the moment, serving the greatness within us is healing. It's sort of the opposite of, thinking you're everything, the ego taking over. Serving, bowing to the moment, to the greatness within each other, to the ability for us as human beings to make life just a little bit better for somebody else because we're offering our love and service to them. That is really powerful. And I think that what drives that is faith. When we don't know what's next, what do we have? If you are a person who has faith in the divine and in yourself, in your ability to connect with the divine, then you're not as afraid of what's around the corner. You're able to wrestle your worries about what's around the corner with the belief that you are going to be supported, that you're not alone, that it is possible for you to live through, breathe through, rise as you turn that corner. I wonder, do you feel like that? Do you feel like that in your life? Do you feel like you have that ability? I'm wondering if you feel that way. I see some folks who've said hello. I didn't see it till just now. I see Sherry Ruffin. Hi, Sherry. And Bethune Development. I know, so Bethune is in your name. I'm not sure who that is. Hello to everybody who's joined. This is tender time for many people, and that's why I thought it would be important to contemplate this. So the quote that I found today is from a woman who many of you may know. She's an incredible, thinker and speaker, and she's written a lot about how we can step into our own power. She's Brené Brown, and I wonder if any of you have, paid attention to her, but here's what she had to say. "Faith is a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty." Right? Close your eyes for a minute. I want you to take this one in. So close your eyes. Just take a nice deep breath in. Breathe fully. And I'm going to read this to you again. Brené Brown says, "Faith is a place of mystery, where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty." Yeah. Mystery because it's not right there in front of us, right? It's beyond. It's a place of mystery, she says. Faith is a place of mystery. And in that space of mystery, of unknown, Brené Brown says it's where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. This is a big thought. We can't see it. We know something's out there. It's a mystery. We don't know what it is. We have structure in our lives, so we have a sense of what comes next. But we know what we think comes next isn't always next, right? So there's the mystery. But to gain the courage to believe in what we open our eyes and we can't see it, but we believe that it's going to be there, that what we need will be on the path right ahead. And then we have the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. This is a lot. This is not a little thought. This is a big thought. And it's the way I was taught. If you have faith in God, however you understand God, you believe that this force is so much bigger than you, that it's a force that holds the universe, that is the universe, that understands that there's enough room, enough bounty for every one of us, that there does not need to be lack, that there is enough. There's this overflowing abundance so that what you need is right there. Right there. What I need is right there. I don't need to take from you. I don't need to elbow you. I don't need to wish that somebody would disappear so that there's enough for me. There is enough. I don't have to feel uncertain and contracted because I don't know what's next. Even if something bad has happened, something hurtful, I can have faith that I'm going to be okay, that I'm not alone, that God is there with me, that that my community, the people I love are there with me and will support me. Do you all feel that? When you sit in that quietness of your life and imagine what is just right around the bend, do you see people who love you and support you and want the best for you? Do you realize that you're not alone? I hope so. And in those moments when you do feel alone, you can breathe in the greatness of God, of the universe, of humanity, the greatness, choosing the greatness, and then reconnect to that source so you know you're not alone. Hey, I see some friends joining. Rolanda Watts, how are you, dear? It's good to connect to you in this way. We've connected in a lot of ways. It's good to connect to you in this way at this time when it's so important for us to connect to people who share the intention of spreading goodness, right? Because there are all kinds of people in the world. But if you hold it clearly in your intention that you want to be in alignment with goodness, in alignment with greatness, in alignment with the connection between your heart and all the people around you, the connection between the understanding that the light inside of you is the light of God. That's what I've been taught. And if you really contemplate that and believe in that, then you don't have to fear what's on the other side, what's across the street, what's in the next day, what's going to happen this afternoon. You don't have to have fear. You can walk in faith. So I interviewed a woman for the second time just a couple days ago. I went to see Hell's Kitchen, Alicia Keys' beautiful musical, for the second time. And she has, in the holiday season, some special guest stars, and Neo was performing. It was great to hear him and his beautiful voice. And Yolanda Adams is coming to be part of the performance. And I worked with her years ago, and I thought she was going to be there. That's what it said. But she wasn't. Who was there playing Miss Liza Jane, the woman who originated the role, is the dynamic performer, Keisha Lewis. Keisha, as I say, originated this role, and the day that I went to see her was the night before her last performance. She said she's been part of this show for 4 years, since it was workshopped, and her time is coming to an end. And so she had lots of wonderful thoughts about being in a performance, and also, some tender thoughts about moving on. I don't know if any of you have seen her in this performance, but I said to her, I felt like she was channeling the ancestors. Keisha has a voice that I'm going to say at least 6 octaves. She goes to a depth, a resonant depth that is gotta be bass, like a man's bass, all the way up to soprano. And with complete control. But it's even more than her voice, it's her spirit, that there's a throb to her presence that, to me, felt like her connection to God, her connection to the ancestors, and then all of her talent helping to push this forward. Really amazing. And so I asked her, knowing this is the end of A Road, 4 years into this production, the year is ending, she's moving on. As a working artist, what does that feel like? Are you scared? What are you thinking? Because you never know. As a working artist, it's not like having a corporate job, and even today, those aren't necessarily as secure as some. But there is a certain level of certainty in a job that is more of a structured job. In the arts, not so much. And so I wanted to check in with her to understand where her heart is, how she's feeling. And hopefully, my producer, Fallon, was able to pull a little clip from that interview I wanted to share with you, so you could hear from her what she has to say about her journey as she's moving to the next level. So Fallon, if you have that, would you play it for us?
Other artists who can interpret her work maybe in ways she hadn't thought of. And that's the beauty of the way the music is presented in the show, and that she allowed me to sing it the way I felt to sing it.
Beautiful. As a working artist, this is the transition point for this project. But as working artists, you never quite know what's next.
No, you
What?
don't.
How do you stay uplifted when the unknown is ahead?
I stay in complete faith. I have spiritual practice. I'm a Christian. I spend time with God every day. And I recognize that being an artist is a faith walk. It is a faith walk, period. And a lot of times people feel that that's kind of woo-woo. And I tell people that faith is like when you go to sit in a chair, you don't check the legs. You don't check the seat before you sit down. You just sit down. You believe that that chair is going to hold you up. So I have to believe that my Father is going to hold me up. I will not starve. I will always have a roof over my head. All will be well. I may not get things in the timing that I'd like, but all that should come to me will come to me.
Beautiful. I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
And enjoy that much deserved rest.
Thank you.
Beautiful, right? Being an artist is a faith walk. I love when she said that. It's just, it gives me chills just when I think about it. And I think we can extrapolate that out to just living right now is a faith walk. But she says, as for her as a Christian, she knows she's connected. She's connected to her God. She knows how to, she has practices that she engages every day so that she remains connected to God. Because it's not enough, by the way, to just say, I have faith. Practicing faith, having faith, it's an action. You have to do something. You know, I was, as I told you, the gathering where I was a few days ago with members of my spiritual community, and we were talking about being protected and what it means to feel God's protection. Well, we are taught, and I think probably across all religions, that God is always there. God is always protecting us, that God is right there. But if you don't consciously engage and honor that protection and guidance and feel it, believe it's there, nurture it for yourself, then it could just be there, just kind of like right next to you, but you're ignoring it. Has that ever happened where you feel like you notice, wow, the grace of God has always been right here, but I didn't even see it. I didn't pay attention. Oh, that person who walked into my life in that moment, did God send that person to me? Did I not even pay attention to that person? Am I being conscious of honoring God's grace in my life? Keisha said she has her daily spiritual practices that include prayer and meditation every single day so that she can stay plugged in. Part of having faith is staying plugged in. You know how if you don't plug in your phone and you let it go for a couple of days or you're on it all the time and then it dies? Well, it died because you didn't plug it in again. You didn't fill that cup again. So what about yourself? Do you fill your cup or do you just allow yourself to go, ugh, I'm exhausted. My energy's gone. I haven't done anything to take care of myself. Ugh, I'm done. Or do you fill your cup? Do you fill your cup? And if you do, then what happens, right? If you do, then you wake up in the morning energized. Also, by the way, I learned this years ago, but I've told this example before of a woman I greatly admire who talks about this using spiritual tools in the moment. So she is Norma Kamali, fashion designer. I love her so much. She's been connected to her spirit center forever. She's probably now about 80 years old. If you ever see her, You would never know that. She is spry, she's fit, her brain is absolutely on point, and, she walks with the youth of faith. But she told me I interviewed her about a book that she'd written, and she told me that when she's feeling off center, what she will do is go into the bathroom, and she owns a building on 56th Street, I think, 55th, something like that. She will go into the bathroom in her building, sit on top of the toilet seat, plant her feet on the floor, and do a 3-minute meditation to just cleanse her spirit of whatever negativity has her off course. Isn't that great? 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Doesn't take much to realign yourself with the greatness within. It's just consciously saying, "Yes, I can reconnect. I can plug back in. I can I can engage God's grace. I can have faith that I do not have to be afraid when I'm turning that corner. I don't have to be afraid of what is uncertain because just like Keisha said, when you sit down in a chair, you don't check the chair leg before you sit down, not usually anyway, right? You believe that the chair is going to be able to hold you. If you have faith that God is going to protect you and you regularly plug in to that energy, to that source, then that's exactly what happens. And isn't that just incredibly powerful? It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter who your friends are. None of it matters. You can plug into the energy, the divine energy at any point and change your state. You can reground yourself at any point by making the choice to do it. It isn't just for people of privilege. Connecting to your faith, connecting to the divine is for everyone. It doesn't cost anything, and yet it costs everything. It costs awareness. The cost is your awareness from the head and the heart. I need to do this. I need to plug in. I need to replenish every day. And something my mom and my grandma would say all the time, keep good company. Part of this covenant is who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you spending time with people who support you, who uplift you, who are people of faith, who are people who believe that around the corner there's something great, who work to manifest greatness every day? Do you surround yourself with people like that? Or do you have maybe too many people who are negative? And if you do, this is another great time to take a bath and allow the people and experiences that do not serve you anymore to wash away. You don't have to keep everybody with you. You can let go of the people, the experiences that do not serve you anymore gracefully. You don't have to be mean about it. But when you surround yourself with love, with honesty, with strength, with people who are in alignment with their greatness, you have an opportunity to be even greater. And I really hope that you take that in because it's powerful. You are not alone. The divine is always there. And the divine provides so many people who are there as extensions of greatness to hug you, to love you, to support you, to tell you the truth. And I always say, to tell you the truth the way that you can hear it. This is what we need right now. When you surround yourself with that energy that is nurturing and honest. When you do spiritual practices that help remind you of the greatness within you that you share with the rest of the universe, you're good. You can have faith. You don't have to see. The mystery is okay. Brene Brown talked about that mystery. It's okay. You may not be able to see it, but you can feel it. And you know that greatness is here and around the corner. The uncertainty is just, I don't know what's there, but I have faith that I'm going to be okay. As we close out, I just want to look at some of these notes. D'Angelo, hello. Bethune says, thank you for the messages this morning. You didn't know I needed this message, but it's so right on time. It felt right in this moment. Deborah Dobson Morrison, good morning. Just hello to all of you. Thank you for joining. This broadcast will be up, so if you have somebody you think will be touched by this, share it with them. It's on all of my social, it's on my website. Share it with them. Tell people if they need to receive this message, all they have to do is push play and it'll be there for them. That's the beauty of technology, that in this case, it's saved and it will be there for folks if they need it. Thank you so much for being with me today. Remember as you walk through this day and every day to have faith. When you do it, breathe in faith, exhale faith, live in faith. You're going to have more joy, guaranteed. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.